right. Happy Sunday. Good morning, lure mongers, fellow lure mongers, aspiring lure mongers. Today we're going to talk a little bit about gear. We certainly get a lot of questions in our adventures around the island because lures aren't really much of a thing here, though we've had a lot of success with lures here in Bermuda. So firstly, we're going to talk about like the lures that we use, that we've had the most success on. Disclaimer, we're not sponsored, not a paid promotion, and I don't claim to be an expert or pro. I'm still learning, but this is what we've used so far where we've landed loads of fish on. So we're just going to talk a little bit about those. So the first lure I'm going to talk about is this one here. I'm not going to say much about it. This is just a 3-inch Yozuri. It's got a little spoon on the lip. It makes it dive. When you're retrieving, it dives just under the surface, and it'll have a bit of action as well to resemble a bait fish running. So it's got a little ball in there to make some sound as well, 2 treble hooks. And yeah, I've had great success on this lure. I've landed jacks. I've got snappers on this lure. Snappers are shy to bite anything, but I've got snappers on this lure. Small rockfish. What else? Oh, my first barracuda, my only barracuda that I've ever caught, also on this lure. So 3-inch Yozuri, you can't go wrong with this. Most of the fish that follow lures here seem to follow this one, and it comes in a range of colors as well. They are hard to get locally at the moment. I haven't been seeing them for a while, but 3-inch Yozuri, lure number 1. You can talk about it.
And lure number 2 is the 4-inch Yozuri fingerling. One of my early personal favorites. I used to use this one all the time. You're kind of limited to the amount of fish you're able to catch with this because all types of jacks will follow it, but if they're too small, they won't hit it, they won't take it. So mostly it's just bigger fish like big steelheads or big blue runners that will usually take this one.
White jacks as well.
Yeah, white jacks as well.
Definitely.
But definitely one of my personal favorite lures for 4-inch.
And one quick thing about this 4-inch Yozuri as well. My first snapper on a lure, it was a frenzy I cast into, a bonita frenzy. They were blitzing on the surface, and snappers, that's when you get snappers on lures. They try to pick off the scraps, the injured fish, or anything that looks like that is struggling. So I cast it into that frenzy. I got a big hit on my rod, started to retrieve, bring the fish in, and I was shocked, but it was a snapper, and it was on this 4-inch fingerling Yozuri. Probably one of my top 3 catches. It's harder to find the 3-inch ones, but the 4-inch ones, you could find those locally at multiple places at the moment, so that's great.
And these also have a very good variety of colors and designs. Yeah. One of my personal favorites is the bone colored one, the white one. We haven't really caught anything on that yet, but we've seen stuff like barracudas really
a lot of
attracted. Yeah, they gets a lot of attention for that color.
The other one, this was introduced to me by a friend who really showed us how possible and how successful lure fishing could be inshore, at least in Bermuda, because I know offshore the guys use all sorts of stuff, but inshore people tend to stick to baits, like organic bait, natural stuff. But with the guy who really got me into artificials introduced me to this one, and I've been using this heavily recently, more than the other 2. And this is the 3.5-inch Yozuri 3D Prism Minnow. And all of the videos we have so far, this is basically what I've been using. And I've been killing it with the little toonie, or we call them mackerel locally. They're not mackerel, we call them mackerel. But the little toonie, been killing it with this lure. What other things have you gotten on the 3.5 minnow?
Everything. Bonitas, amberjacks, whitejacks, any type of jacks.
Yeah.
For this one, my best catch has to be one of the large steelheads.
28-inch steelhead, just shy of 7 pounds.
Yeah, 28-inch steelhead. Took me like 7 minutes to bring in, and I was very surprised that he took something like this.
Yeah.
And mentioning the 3.5-inch minnow, we also have the 5-inch minnow, which is extremely large. Very difficult to catch anything on it. And the only thing here that would probably take this is one of the large barracudas that we have inshore, or a very large steelhead. I haven't hooked one yet. I've got a couple follows, but I haven't got the opportunity to cast on like a barracuda or something quite yet. A few days after using a 5-inch minnow, we went to Shelly Bay on a hunch of information and managed to hook something wild on the beach.
And we got a fish on. And Bria was just saying, probably go home. He's fighting a big fish.
Come on.
Come on.
Steelhead. And on my favorite lure too.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten anything on this lure yet.
That is awesome. This is awesome. Awesome, awesome. I'm gonna get the landing net. Just keep fighting him, keep fighting him. Actually, no, just drag him up the beach.
Drag him up the beach. Yeah,
let me hold this up a bit. Reel. Pull a bit more. Pull, pull, pull. And then turn and reel. Turn and reel. Pull, pull, pull. Turn and reel.
And he's not done fighting. My arm's gonna be tired after this guy.
Yeah. Pull, pull, pull. I don't believe you got taken. Whew, we might have to come out of tomorrow night too, because I think after this I'm gonna be done. Oh, he's going that way. That was nuts. I was just like, I heard stories about out here, but let's check it out.
Come on, buddy.
All right, let's get some Braille footage. Pull, pull, pull.
Come on, man. You're
pull,
coming in.
Pull a bit more, pull a bit more. Yeah, now.
Come on, buddy. Come on, man. They're coming in.
All right, am I in the way? Turn, pull, pull, pull. He's right on the, there he is, go. Pull him in, pull him in, pull him in. OMG. No way.
There we go.
No freaking way. First catch on the 5-inch minnow. Crazy.
I knew this minnow would work, especially on the large steelheads. And it's full soak too. What do you mean, what's the call? Bus taken. Can't believe it. Another one.
We're learning as we go. We're gonna present new info as we learn, but definitely the top 3 right now that we've gotten like dozens of fish with right now. 3.5 3-inch fingerling, 4-inch fingerling, and 3.5 minnow. The stuff that we're interested in testing out is this. It's like a jig, also called the minnow, but I call that one the minnow, so I don't want to get it mixed up. But this is a hoagie minnow, 14-gram jig. I did get a hookup on this, and the fish got off. But I did get a hookup on this the other day. A guy I was fishing with, one of my friends, he was killing it with this. He got 2 mackerels in quick succession. So we know it works. But I still need to get used to the sinking lures and get used to the action. I'm still learning, as I said. What else? So, a soft plastic or soft baits with a weighted jig head. Now, these weighted jig heads come in different varieties. You fish them into this soft plastic body that resembles like a bait fish. It has this little paddle that'll drag along the water and give it some action. They look very organic when they're in the water. We haven't had, this one here is the Fishaholics, is one of my favorite YouTubers, the Fishaholic Finback Shad, and this is also his custom jig head. We haven't caught anything on this particular soft bait. I haven't even got a confirmed soft bait catch yet. Jabril has, however, landed a jack on a soft bait, so we know in the right place, right time, it will work. And just look how like organic that'll, you could only imagine in the water how this will swim, you know. And hopefully I'll get some footage of me landing something with this pretty soon. I'm gonna start using it more frequently, but it's just right place, right time, I guess, with certain types of lures. So, all right, so before we get into setup, I'm just gonna quickly talk about this. So this is a fly. I don't have a fly rod, if you're wondering. It's just a bunch of fibers layered together to resemble like a fry, encased in some epoxy with a hook inside at the core. So, but I saw a technique where people are using like a weighted floater, and you're casting it out, and you have this on a leader attached to the floater just so it sends it out there because, you know, it's so light. So fly fishing with a spinning rod, we'll see how that goes. But this is called a surf candy, and yeah, I'm quite sure because a lot of our big fish eat fry, I'm sure something like this, you know, could end up being a hit. So I'm going to test this out as well pretty soon. I'll just go over my basic setup. So I'm using this Penn Pursuit 4 with a Penn Pursuit 4 reel as well, and I have 15-pound braid. I like really light braid so I can cast far, and then tied to that 15-pound braid via, actually no, I didn't do a braid to leader, not with this, it's kind of have a loop. Not going to talk about that right now, but I have a minnow pre-rigged and ready to go, and I have 20-pound fluorocarbon leader. You could just use some clear line. What it does is that for the fish that are really smart and really line shy, if you have a leader, it just looks like this is swimming by itself and nothing's pulling it. So that's the idea of having some sort of clear line. Some people say use 3 feet of leader. I don't use that much, but you know, I've got a lot of catches with this setup, so it doesn't really matter. But I mean, if you had a longer leader, that probably will help. So, well, like I said, I'm still just figuring things out for myself.
But this is a Squadron 3 Penn rod, and it's definitely really strong. Obviously, it's maybe not the cheapest option, but you don't have to go really expensive with rods and poles. Like, you can just get a setup for like between $50 and $80.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you'll be quite successful with something like that. His PB steelhead that we mentioned earlier was on, you know, like a $75 rod, and very flexible, very springy. It'll help you to cast far if you have a very springy kind of rod, but you know, it's not going to be as strong, not going to be as durable. So you got to really play the fish light.
Yeah,
but
you definitely have to have a lot of technique for that. But as you can see, these ones aren't as flexy as so you may not get as far cast, but
you get far enough.
You get far enough.
Yeah, you may not.
But with the lighter rods, obviously it's a little bit more springy.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking about lighter cast, also with braid, if you have braid for your line, a lot of people say that it's not good, but it's twice as strong as mono, and you get the cast a lot farther than you would be with mono line.
Yeah, not as much abrasion resistance, but if you have a nice open spot where there's not as much reef, not as much structure for the fish to kind of wrap around and scrape you off, then the braid is great for just letting a big fish run, especially if you hook something big unexpectedly on a lighter setup. The braid is going to hold up, and yeah, you'll go quite far with
the braid. I have on my line is 30, which is double
what I use.
Yeah, it's really strong. It's never broken off on any fish here, so I definitely would count on it. You don't have to buy very high pound braid. On my heavier setup, I do have 65-pound braid, but I don't use that setup very often.
Yeah, I have 50 braid on my setup, and that's the setup that I'm trying to use with live bait to try to get another monster steelhead. I'm gonna try it, film it next time. So yeah, that's a 50 pound braid on that. Then I have a really thick leader, maybe like 50 or 60-pound mono, with just rigged up with a hook ready to go, so I can put live ballyhoo, send it out there, and let a monster steelhead come and get it. One more thing with lures. This is some of our favorite little toys. This is squid jigs. So most people I see when they're catching squid here locally, they would use like a cast net. So they would cast on top of the squid, bring it up on a dock. But I brought some squid jigs with me before I came on my way back home from the UK. I got some squid jigs from an outdoor shop. We didn't think they were gonna work. And we was at Tobacco Bay once, and in the reef, there was a bunch of squid there. It must have been about 6 or 7 fairly big squids. And so we started to cast them, and we didn't really know about the retrieve or anything, so it wasn't sure what to do. But if you just let it sit out there, the squid would approach it. If it's close enough, they'll see it, they would approach it, wrap around it, and then they'll start to take it down, and then you just jig them. So squid are starting to show up again. It was really warm, and we haven't seen them consistently for a while, but now they're starting to turn up again. So we've got this one here. We've landed a lot of squid with these, and I'm trying out this new squid jig, this Yozuri. I've got it on a leader ready to go, but haven't landed anything with this yet. Let me try to detangle this a little bit. Yeah, I haven't landed anything with this squid jig yet, but I'm sure it's gonna work because Yozuri makes quality stuff, and I have no reason at all in thinking that this isn't gonna work. So yeah, can't wait to use this new squid jig. I believe this one's completely glow in the dark as well, but most squid jigs will come with a glow in the dark little ring, so you could use them at night. They're good to go. I've got some larger squid jigs somewhere downstairs. There's just literally a big glow in the dark bead with a jig on the bottom, and that was what we first caught the squids with in daylight. Actually, we just held it up to the sun and then just slung it in the water, and we got our first squids doing that. So yeah, that's a little bit about setup, and you know, I'll talk a little bit more about spots when we're out and about at the spots. And well, thanks for watching, guys. You know, if you want to support the channel and watch us grow and produce more material, like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell icon, and stay tuned for more Loremongers content.